Yo, 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 welcome back to another episode of Player versus Team, aka PVT. And y'all see, I'm back with the crew. How we doing today, fellas?
What's up?
Man, I'm ready to go. Let's get it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So let's go ahead and jump right into it. I seen a comic book question the other day, and I wanted to get you guys' thoughts on it. Just real quick. Seen on social media, 1v1 Spider-Man v Wonder Woman. And we're talking about regular Spidey, 616, your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Repeat that again.
V Wonder Woman.
Oh, hell no.
1v1.
1v1.
Hell no.
Mano y mano.
Look, I love Spider-Man. Do not get me wrong. 616 Peter is no joke, but his Wonder Woman is so fast, his spider sense will be overloaded. He'll be overpowered, outmatched as a warrior. That warrior, the spider, can't do anything against Wonder Woman's battle techniques. He just loses. He gets dog walk. He loses all the way around. Wonder Woman is just too strong of an opponent for him.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree with this one. Wonder Woman is she's way stronger than Spider-Man, and that's not a knock on Spider-Man. Spider-Man is just basically superhuman, right? But I mean, we've seen him. I mean, if you want to take the Spider-Man from the movies with Tom Holland, or whether you want to go with the comics, it doesn't really matter. We've seen he struggled against Winter Soldier and Falcon. The only reason why he ended up winning is because he deactivated Falcon's wings. And I mean, we saw how strong Bucky was. He tried to hold Bucky's arm down. Bucky picked his arm right back up. And Wonder Woman is way stronger than Bucky. Let's get that out the way. That super soldier serum ain't doing nothing. Obviously, Wonder Woman is an Amazonian warrior. I mean, and Wonder Woman is fast. People sleep on her speed just because, you know, Superman is supposed to be almost as fast as Flash, and she's not as fast as Superman, but she's damn near strong.
She's got amazing speed feats in her own right. You see that in the comic. It's just it's a mismatch. And again, nothing against 616. Peter's awesome. He ain't beating Wonder Woman.
Yeah, no.
He ain't beating her. And we're just talking about Wonder Woman now in base. We're not talking about the Wonder Woman that's giving up powers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because right now, Diana's a demigod. We ain't talking about her goddess form.
And when you just look at the villains that Peter got to face, ain't nobody close to Wonder Woman in strength or skill.
Nope.
I mean, for me, it's not even about the strength or the skill. It's strictly battle IQ, bro. Like, this is an Amazonian warrior. Outside of her being a demigod, outside of her being molded by clay from the hands of Zeus, like, these are warriors. They train day in and day out for imminent war that they think is going to come from the man world. Like, day in and day out, these women are training. Not to mention they're freaking ginormous. But these women are so battle tested. Their battle IQ is through the roof that even the likes of Superman has went to these women, has went to Diana, has went to Hippolyta and was like, yo, train me, dog, because obviously there's something that I'm missing. You know what I mean? Like, I need to be up to par on what you guys are seeing. I can't just go around thinking that me being super strong is going to do it. Nah, I got to have a certain level of battle IQ. And there's nobody more battle tested than the Amazons and Diana, right? We're talking about a woman who can literally go blow for blow with Superman, like literally go blow for blow, right? And has done it before. So Spidey just don't got it like that. You know what I mean? And I rock with Spider-Man like that. Peter's my guy, but I'm sorry. Once that lasso gets around him, he gonna start spilling all his 16-year-old secrets and all some type of crazy. It's bad, bro. There's nothing that he gonna be able to do. But just wanted to get that out the way. You guys know we got to get a comic book question of the day. If you guys want more comic book nerd questions and or content, please follow my boy William Morgan. That is the host of the illustrious Geek Gauntlet podcast, where they talk everything comic, video games, nerd, anime, etc., etc. So if you don't want to miss it, and if you want to see more, please tune in on Saturdays with my boy Willie. All right, fellas. OKC and SGA heading back. Well, OKC heading back, but SGA heading to the finals. A 4-1 gentleman sweep of the Timberwolves. First, let me ask you this. How much of a role do the others play in this equation? Because, you know, they go out, they get Isaiah Hartenstein, they get an Alex Caruso, right? They add just a slew full of guys who have been in respective roles, who have been in, you know, certain championship environments to kind of boost them around and then add some type of veteran help to, you know, that young locker room. How much does it say that others actually matter and that you need the others instead of relying on just pure star power? Willie, I'm going to start with you on this one.
You can't rely just on pure star power. These teams are too good in the NBA. You need help. Superstars need teammates. And with J-Dub doing what he did, the Warriors, OKC Thunder being able to go 10 deep. And again, let's not forget these guys defensively. You lose one, there's another one right there to pick you up mid-court. And if you get past that guy, you got your boy Chet ready to defend the rim. And he needs those other players to not only help him offensively to move the basketball around, but to also play defense. So it just can't be SGA, because if it was just SGA, it wouldn't be where they are.
DJ?
You know, there's a formula that I have for picking teams that are going to win championships. Top 5 offense, top 5 defense. OKC, I think, is definitely top 5 offense, and I think they're top 2 in defense, team defense at that.
Mm-hmm.
Two-way basketball is back because people aren't overloading on 3 stars and just putting shooters around. They're not just relying on 3 and D stars. They're finding players that can create their own shot and play tough-nosed defense. Like, I think the difference in the Denver series was Caruso. The difference in the Denver series was Caruso. You know, it was kind of like how when Drew Holiday got traded to Boston, people were like, well, you gifted Boston a title.
We did say that.
And it's like they basically got Caruso and they gifted Caruso. Right? So
don't remind me of that trade. Don't remind me of that trade. Please don't.
I was gonna say Willie might be
I'm sure about that trade. We got a bag. We got a bag of cookies for that damn deal.
Please, straight.
I mean, it'd be like that. I mean, the fact of the matter is, your team gut the team from last year, so he was just part of the hey, we're going to gut it, and OKC was like, hey, we'll take him, and here they go.
We'll give you trash back.
I think now it's depth and defense is back in the NBA.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
I'm not gonna lie. I like that point because we did go through an era where we seen a very star-studded league, right? And I think a lot of people got spoiled to that. Because you know, you had the big threes, you had the big twos, the superstars, et cetera, but I think a lot of guys, when you look at these championships, and the reason why a lot of teams haven't repeated is because the others, right? And me and Boo-Wop kind of talked about this on Monday, is that yeah, the stars are important, but the others are probably equally as important because they bring a different kind of energy, they bring a different kind of swagger, they bring a different kind of play style that it's just some people just can't necessarily game plan for, if that makes sense, right? Like if you look at the if you look at the Warriors from their championship years, right? Of course, you can game plan for Steph. Of course, you can game plan for a KD or you can try to game plan for those players, but or Clay. But how do you game plan for somebody like Sean Livingston?
Man, Mr. 100 from the mid range. That dude's 2K rating should be 100 from he didn't miss a shot.
Come on, how do you game plan for something like that, right? So you take that and you add it to OKC, right? And when I'm watching this series, I'm looking at the small things, right? I'm looking at the box house. I'm looking at the hustle plays. I'm looking at the effort. And two things that stuck out to me with OKC. Number one, Isaiah Hartenstein. A lot of people may overlook him. A lot of people may not think that he plays a big role, but what he was doing in the box to Rudy was it was damn near criminal.
Nasty work.
It was damn near criminal. Like Rudy, he really should have apologized to that man and his family for what he was doing to him in that box, bro, because it was absolutely criminal. He should have been arrested because the assault that you put on that man for 4 games. Come on, bro. Like, and this is a 3-4 time defensive player of the year.
Trash.
You need to give all them.
He's a very good help defender. That's all he is. I've been saying that for years, and I've been saying that.
He need to give up all 4 of them awards. He need to give up all 4.
This is a guy who's a certified vet, right? Stifle Tower, right? Getting outplayed, out-muscled, out-rebounded by somebody who is considered a journey guy. Right?
7-footer. Should be a lot better than what he is. He ain't. And he's soft.
You're right, though. You're right. Hartenstein and Chet do deserve a lot of praise because that was the first team Minnesota played with a competent big.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And people that actually understand the game of basketball. They stretched the floor, pulled him out and neutralized him. And then on the other side, they abuse him by making him try and defend one-on-one. And that's not what he does. He's a help defender.
Yep. And I'm telling you,
they also made things tough for Julius Randle too.
Sure did. Yeah. That's another
thing
that I was going to do.
Julius actually to come in and he had to play. Whereas before he couldn't run a rough shot because there was no other big, particularly against the Lakers, that could really hang with them. But you got 2 of them. Okay.
Yeah.
I knew Julius Randle was going to struggle this series before it started, just because Chet and Hartenstein are just they're just bigs. They're real bigs. I think Julius Randle totes the line on the side of a smaller power forward, definitely a small center like 6'10", 6'11". OKC at even what's the small forward's name? In OKC. Yes. Even
Jay Williams or Jay Williams.
Like the OKC is underratedly tall.
No, they're big. Like underratedly big.
Yes, they're underrated. They are big at every position. I think Shea is like 6'4", right?
He's like 6'4", 6'5".
I think he's like 6'6", 6'7" at this point.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So like it will if Minnesota would have something. This is why I said if Minnesota was to pull off this and go to the finals and then eventually win, this man Anthony Edwards would be the number 1 player in the NBA, because Indiana is another team that is capable of having 3 bigs in the paint that will be able to match with Rudy Gobert and essentially neutralize him.
Mm-hmm. I think you just made the best point, though. I think a lot of people underestimate just how big, right, this OKC team is. When you look at guys like Shea, like I said, Shea's 6'6", 6'7", right? That's a big-ass point guard. You know what I mean? You got 2 Jalen Williams who are, legit over 6'7". Lou Dort, big as hell. Isaiah Hartenstein, big as hell. And then you got Chet, big as hell, right? And then you add what, a 6'4", 6'5" Alex Caruso?
Alex Caruso is surprisingly bigger than most people think.
And all
Bro,
these guys are, and all
I
these
seen him in
guys are
person.
young, and all these guys are young, and all these guys can run.
That's the big thing too. They're young.
All of them
They
can
can
run.
run. They play out, like I said, they play outstanding defense. Like a lot of people don't. A lot of people aren't really honing in on that. But
They
even
don't get
then, with
caught
the
on
defense,
they don't get caught on switches and mismatches too often.
true. But I think a lot of people, because I seen this stat yesterday and it was interesting. A lot of people aren't really too keen to this, but the three is slowly dying. You start to live and die by the three, right? All the top teams, well, actually, now all the top teams now are officially that were the highest 3-point shooters in the league are officially out the playoffs now, right?
They in Cancun right now.
Mm-hmm. So what that tells me is a lot more offensive sets are being drawn up around either attacking the paint or the mid-range game, right? Because the way
what's up, Nick?
Shooting from three, it tells you, right? A lot of these guys don't have the necessary range, and the easier, more, I guess, productive shot would be either a nice mid-range or something close to the basket. So is that's just one stat that was interesting to me. But DJ, you actually said something that's gonna that ties into the next question. So like I said earlier, like the title says, does Shea win in the, because he won MVP, right? He's a Western Conference, Finals MVP. So does him going on to the finals, potentially winning a finals and winning the finals MVP, does that now make him the new young face of the league?
I'm inclined just to say no. I'm inclined to say no. And the reason why I'm inclined to say no is because I still think as long as LeBron is in the league, he's going to be the face of the NBA. And he already opted into his contract.
True.
And the other reason is Jokic has won, what is it, 3 MVPs now? Or is it 2? I can't remember.
3.
Jokic has 3 MVPs. He won 2 back-to-back and then skipped the year when Giannis won and then came back and won it again. And he didn't take over as the face of the league. Giannis won an MVP and a DPOY in the same year. And he has a finals MVP and he didn't take over as face of the league. I just think because it's the NBA and they're looking for a face that is essentially an American. And I'm not saying that an international player can't take over for the face of the NBA. But even when you think about it, going back to those early NBA live games and early ESPN games, when they released the games in Europe, they used a European player to be the face of the cover. But in America and all these other places, you got an American player that they use to market the American player. So I do think it's possible to have 2 faces of the NBA, one for international players and for international and one for American. But as far as just the overall face, until LeBron retires, nobody is going to be even Steph didn't pass LeBron as the face of the NBA, and Steph has just as many rings. He owns the best record ever. He's the first unanimous MVP, all that. And even he couldn't pass LeBron as the face of the league. So even if Shea wins, I don't think he becomes the face of the league just yet. But let me tell you, if they win and they come back again next year and they win again, he definitely has the chance. But I still think personality has a lot to do with it as well. Your personality and what people cater to. And right now, the person who has the best chance of being the face of the NBA doesn't want to be the face of the NBA, which is Anthony Edwards.
Fair point. Willie, how we feeling?
I'm not putting Anthony Edwards in that spot just yet. He's young at 23. I want to see him do a little bit more before I would even consider. As far as SGA, is concerned, I don't think he is because his attitude doesn't dictate to the point that he wants to be.
Right.
And that's why I would say no. But hey, I'm gonna tell you right now, he keep winning the way he's winning, he keep looking the way he's looking. He may not have a choice. Fans may put him or consider him to be the face of the league with everything he's been doing right now. He don't owe nobody $200. He don't own no pet bull puppy, nothing like that. He's been a solid citizen. As far as I know, hadn't gotten in trouble with the law in any way whatsoever. It's been a positive influence for the league. So the fans will give him that title if he keeps being successful and doing things the right way.
It's a fair point. It's a fair point. What's next for Minnesota? Do we see them making any moves to kind of shake up their roster, kind of better their roster? How are we feeling? Willie, go ahead.
I do. Look, listen,
me and Willie gonna have the same idea, bro. I'm telling you now.
Listen, they're gonna have to do. First of all, Rudy need to go. That's the first thing. Rudy need
what
to
I
go.
said.
He gotta go. He's not productive. I ain't trying to say. He can't be good with somebody else, but with Minnesota, he gotta go. You in the West, you gotta be able to be a productive defender. You gotta be able to do something on offense to help the team out. He doesn't do either one effectively. He got to go. I don't think Julius Randle is a number 2. I think he's a number 3. You need a solid second scorer up in there. It could be a wing player, could be a guard. You need somebody else who can hit tough shots and penetrate down the lane. But they got to make some changes. I don't think this team right now as constructive. Look, Denver, they were weak this year. I don't think they'll be weak next season. I think they'll somewhat be back. I think the Warriors will somewhat be back. It's gonna be an uphill battle and a tougher climb. And I just think Minnesota needs to make some changes in order to stay competitive. And again, the first piece gotta go. Gotta be Rudy. Gotta be Rudy.
Okay.
And like I said, Julius Randle, and to me, Randle's a number 3. He ain't a number 2.
What did I told y'all? See? What I told y'all. Okay, so there's a couple of things that Minnesota needs to do. At the top of that list is get rid of Rudy Gobert. And I hear a lot of people in the comments, I hear y'all. Well, he was the 4-time defensive player of the year and this and that. Let me explain something to y'all as well, okay? And Moo and Willie, y'all are going to agree with me. When Julius Randle won all his defensive player of the year awards, Quinn Snyder was his coach. Quinn Snyder came from that Jerry Sloan line of coaches that are known to be defensive masterminds. They're known to be defensive masterminds. They knew how to mask Rudy Gobert inefficiencies on offense, and they knew how to mask his inefficiencies on defense, which was everybody except Rudy switch, and Rudy stays in the paint and guards whoever is in the paint. That's why I've been saying for years he's only a good help defender because they're running the zone. Utah used to run a 2-3 zone, and then they would switch to a box and one backwards, meaning the box is on top and the one is in the back where Rudy stays around the rim. Now I'm talking X's and O's for the people out there that don't look. I'm telling you, I know my basketball, but nonetheless,
I'll say this in the group. Now, if we were back in the 80s, okay, I can see Rudy being a little bit more valuable, but not in today's game.
I don't know about that.
Not in today's game.
You know why I don't know about the 80s? Because he'd have to play a lot of one-on-one basketball because everything ran through centers and power forwards.
That's true. That's true.
I think the era he would be good in is the early 2000s, where was the lack of skilled bigs outside of like Tim Duncan, Kevin Garnett, Dirk Nowitzki, the lack of outside of those four and Shaq, the drop off was big. Stoudemire, I love Stoudemire, but Stoudemire was really undersized and played so close to the basket. He wasn't he? Yeah. And I tell you what though, Stoudemire would have posted him a couple of times.
Oh, yeah, he would have.
He for sure.
He would have for sure.
He's catching that body differently.
Minnesota, I don't think they have a high draft pick. I don't know if number one, they traded too much to get Rudy Gobert in the first place. The Rudy Gobert thing worked as long as the power forward would score. Like it worked with Cat and Rudy Gobert because Cat would score. The minute Julius Randle became ineffective, what happened to Rudy Gobert?
Yep.
He shrunk. That he has to have somebody that could offset his lack of offensive production. And Minnesota right now, and I agree with you, Willie. I like Julius Randle. Even though he can't go left. Love him. He's a competitor. He's going to. Why are you laughing? Well, you know it's the truth.
He can't.
I mean, you know.
Funny. It's funny because he's left-handed.
You know, I mean, just look, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm right-handed, and I feel way more comfortable shooting from the left side. You know, so, I mean, I get it. But I don't know. I don't know why I'm more comfortable shooting. I guess because I like to, when I shoot, I fall away from the basket a lot. So I guess I like to shoot on the left-hand side because it's easy for me to readjust in position. So I'm guessing that's his problem. But nonetheless, it's just like they need
a consistent score behind Ant.
Well, I don't even think they really need a consistent score behind Ant. I think they need a real floor general. I think they need a real, and like at one point, Mike Conley was a really, really good floor general. Mike Conley is probably one of the top 10 players ever to not make an all-star team just because the West was so loaded during his prime.
So sad.
Like I know y'all know them Memphis teams were crazy.
Yep.
That Memphis team swept San Antonio right after they won a championship.
Yep.
That Memphis team knocked out OKC. I mean, I think that was the year Westbrook got hurt, but they knocked out OKC and went to the conference finals and then lost to San Antonio in the conference finals. But like those teams were Mike Conley in his prime was a really good floor general. They need somebody borderline all-star, really good to be that floor general. I also think they lack size because people for what everybody thinks Alex Caruso is small, they overrate Anthony Edwards' height. Anthony Edwards is just he's the height of your typical shooting guard like Kobe was. He's 6'5", he's not 6'8", 6'9", like because I heard a lot of people was like, man, I thought he was taller than that. No,
he's officially
he plays taller than that. That's he could jump out the gym. So I also think Minnesota is lacking some. Okay. I love my Rockets, but you know one of the missing pieces to Minnesota right now is Steven Adams. Steven Adams is one of the missing pieces to Minnesota right now. You need somebody that's going to get you that 10, 11, 12, 13 rebounds. You need the person that's going to lead in offensive rebounds because Minnesota shoots a lot of jump shots outside of, well, hell, not even outside of Anthony Edwards. They just shoot a lot of jump shots.
They do.
And I mean, I know this team is still young outside of Rudy and Julius, but the younger players still lack discipline. Like Anthony Edwards is 23. He's going to take a bunch of ill-advised shots. He's going to. There's growing pains. There is growing pains. He doesn't have a consistent three-point shot, but he's so confident in his three-point shot, he will pull them shits from wherever and will not be discouraged if they're not going down. He'll just be like, maybe I'm having an off night, but the only way to get out of shooting slump is to keep shooting, right?
Yeah.
Houston fans will tell you otherwise, like myself, but sometimes you just don't have it and you got to go away from it. Anthony Edwards is skilled enough to do that. I really think they need a floor general. I think they need a consistent 3 and D guy. I like what is it, Jaden McDaniels?
Yeah,
love him. I love Jaden McDaniels. But you're right, Willie. They don't have a consistent second scorer. If Anthony Edwards is your guy, any point guard you bring in has to be able to be as effective on offense scoring as he is on defense. That's why I bring up a player like when Mike Conley was in his prime. When Mike Conley was scoring 17 with Mark Gasol and Zebo, they need somebody like that. I don't know if they're going to be able to get somebody like that in the offseason.
Right. Because you saw it in these games. I mean, you gave it to Edwards. As soon as he get down the floor, he doubled. If he beat the double, somebody else picks him up. Who is an all-star or all-world defender. And if you get past that dude, shit right there, they need somebody to take the heat off of him in that particular situation. And they don't have that guy.
No, they don't. And I don't know if they'll be able to get that guy in the offseason because I can't think of a point guard who would fit the role that Minnesota needs. I do know the role
that they
can get because I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm not gonna lie to you. Halliburton would be the perfect point guard for Minnesota. Like he would be the perfect point guard for Minnesota. We'll get back to the Pacers in a little bit because but nonetheless, I don't think there's much they can do to improve because Rudy has been exposed without Cat. He's good. He was good in the first 2 rounds of the Western Conference, but everybody knows had they played in the Western,
you played with Steph.
The Western Conference is starting to look like the weaker conference again. And, they're starting to look like the inferior conference because the East is big. Like I hate to say this because I know Minnesota knocked off the Nuggets last year, but I thoroughly believe had the Nuggets played the Timberwolves in the second round this year, the Nuggets would have won their second round series because Rudy Gobert wouldn't have been able to do shit with the Joker. Nothing.
Or Aaron Gordon at that point.
Or Aaron Gordon. Julius Randle wouldn't have been able to deal with Aaron Gordon because Aaron Gordon is just as strong, just as fast, and can jump out the gym. And he's a better shooter.
And keep him on the perimeter. Let me ask y'all this. Drew Holiday. Would you consider him somebody who can help Minnesota?
That's scary.
No. And
that would be a scary ad, though.
I think if we were getting Drew Holiday from the year when the Bucks won a championship, yes. But Drew Holiday now, no. And I'm not knocking Drew. Drew Holiday is one of my favorite players ever.
Mine too.
I watched him at UCLA.
Yep.
And then all the way when he was in Philadelphia, he made the All-Star team.
You think he's too old?
Drew Holiday's, huh?
You think he's too old at this point?
Yeah, because me and Drew Holiday were in college together, bro. I am 30. I'm turning 35 this year.
Yeah.
Drew Holiday is the same age.
Yeah. I see what you're
saying. Drew Holiday right now will make a very good backup point guard in stretches.
Right.
As you could tell, because now, I lied. Derek White will be perfect for Minnesota. Because I was about to say that Boston plays Derek White more than Drew Holiday now, but Derek White would be really, really good for Minnesota as a starter. I only said Halliburton, but Derek White would be really good.
That'd be solid too. I think Derek White would be good. I think Minnesota is definitely poised for some changes. Now, the changes that everybody is seeking or everybody is expecting, I don't necessarily see it just because I think they might be too tied or too invested in Rudy Gobert. Jury's out.
That's a lot of money they owe that man too.
Exactly. So we'll see how that plays out. But as far as them needing a true ball handler, a true pace setter, I think that's true. But at the same time, I think they also will. I mean, because you have a Nas Reed, you have a JD McDaniels. So I mean, I think that would actually be probably the most logical thing to do, honestly.
Let me play devil's advocate again. You replacing Fisher with Mike Malone?
Damn, a coaching change?
Mm-hmm.
That's not something I expected.
I don't think it'll happen because they're, like I say, you've been there the
But why
past 2
not,
years.
though?
I can see it.
See what? My bad. I had to walk out.
Oh, I was saying, would you replace the coach with Mike Malone?
Who's coach?
Minnesota.
Okay.
What if that's the change that comes? What if it's not a player personnel change? What if it's a coaching change? We've seen teams do this before.
I mean, you're right. We've seen teams do this before, and we've saw that Boston won once Brad Stevens went to the front office, and Ime Udoka was on the cusp, and all the nonsense happened. They got Joe Mazzulla, and things like that.
Yeah.
My only pushback to that is we've seen more teams do worse when they change head coaches than we have seen teams do better.
True.
Like if it's like a mid-season change and now the players are inspired because the coach is gone and things like that, right? Okay, but Mike Malone designed an offense around Cat, Rudy Gobert, and Anthony Edwards. So now you replace Cat with Julius Randle, a less consistent outside shooter, a guy that can't go left. I'm gonna say it again because Moo absolutely cracks up at that.
He can't.
And Julius Randle is a downhill player.
Yes.
So it's really hard to design your offense around basically two slashers in Anthony Edwards, Julius Randle, incompetent offensive player in Rudy Gobert, a really good Jaden McDaniels, and whoever you got at point guard in Minnesota, whether one day it be Mike Conley, and it's tough because I think they are 3 years ago, this would have been the perfect mix of veteran and young talent, right? But the veterans, even Rudy Gobert is old now, dude, and you could just tell he lost a step, right? So Mike Conley's old, Rudy Gobert is old, Anthony Edwards is young, Jaden McDaniels is young, and Julius Randle is on the wrong side of 30 for the most part, but still in his prime.
Mm-hmm.
And Mike Malone can't figure out a good enough pace to play at because the young guys want to run and the old guys are like, yo, we too old to be doing this.
Right.
We ain't trying to run. We're trying to slow down. And Rudy Gobert being all 7'2", even in the fast break, you don't see this dude on the screen.
Nope.
Minnesota went for it all and it didn't work.
That's why I say if you go for it all, it don't work. You press the reset button.
Well, I mean, trading away Cat was supposed to be the reset button, but Anthony Edwards was so good they still made it to the conference finals. Yes. Jaden McDaniels was so good they still made it to the conference finals, and the Lakers were so bad in the post they allowed Rudy Gobert to dominate the series to get by them. You got Luka and LeBron, and you still lose, which is why we say now we're in the era of depth and defense. The Lakers were horrible on defense, and they had no depth on their roster. They didn't even have any. They didn't even have a big to guard Rudy Gobert. Rudy Gobert put up, what was it, 29 and 24 in the closeout game?
27 and 24 in that final game.
Sure y'all know the meme when they putting on the glasses.
Yep.
I mean, I started putting on the glasses, and I thought I saw Will Chamberlain out there for a second because I didn't understand this.
Even Shaq said it. Even Shaq said Rudy played well.
Mm-hmm.
How often you heard that?
Rare.
Like it's rare. That might be a career high for this dude.
Yep.
I don't know. I definitely know it's a playoff high because I definitely know it got to be a playoff high.
Definitely, I'm pretty sure it is. I don't know. So
I just think you pressed the reset button to get it right.
I don't know how long Mike Conley's contract is locked in for. I don't know how long I think Rudy Gobert is still under contract for the next 2 years, which sucks because he's basically an untradeable piece.
Yep.
And you're just gonna have to swallow and eat that contract.
Just like Joel Embiid, untradeable piece.
Jaden McDaniels, he's worth whatever you're going to pay him. Julius Randle, he's not an untradeable piece, but do you really want to keep him around? Because I think his game is complementary off of how good Anthony Edwards is in the game. Because if Anthony Edwards is commanding a double team, then he'll be open to take one-on-one possessions, which makes him a really good third option.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He's at number 3.
True. See how that works out?
Number 3. Not a number 2.
Really fair.
He has to rely on his teammates.
Yep.
So all the games in the playoffs that Julius Randle went crazy, you know what else was going on in them games? Jaden McDaniels played really good and was the second option in those games.
Yeah.
All the time we didn't see that with that game the other day when the bench outscored when the bench played well and they still lost. I was like, damn. They led in every category that game, including bench scoring, and they still lost. Damn.
That just goes to show the firepower that
OKC because Ant and Randall wasn't doing a doggone thing. And they were still out there hooping.
I'm just trying, man. They need to find Ant a co-star.
Yep. That's what all it come down to. Yep.
Julius Randle is not the co-star. Julius Randle is the third option.
Yeah. I like Derek White. White going there.
It's not a knock on Julius Randle either. Like even Chris Bosh had to play third fiddle to D Wade and LeBron. It's not a knock.
Yep.
That's true.
Clay had to play third fiddle to Steph Curry and Kevin Durant. It's not a knock.
Yep.
Nothing
wrong with being your third.
Hey, yeah, that's it. It's a very important role. Shit. As we see, we talked about earlier, right?
A lot of dudes be getting paid for being the third scorer.
Yeah, the others are important. You know what I mean?
Batman, Robin, and Red Hood. You still need Red Hood.
Yep.
Feel me? Batman, Robin, and Oracle. Shit.
Yep.
Somebody there's always a third somewhere.
Yep. And they play a very important role just as much as the other two.
Yeah. Yep. And like we said, it's time to we get back to teams instead of a big 2 or a big 3. You know what I'm saying? I think that's kind of what we're transitioning to. Speaking of team, the Knicks got it done today. They win in a big must-win or go-home game. 111-92 or 94. Sorry. This series is going back to.
Talking about Indiana.
Series is going back to Indiana. Oh, man. Is there a scenario where we see this series actually go back to New York? Because I don't think so. But, anything's possible. People are already saying this is going to be a 7-game series, by the way. So.
I'm gonna answer this in the most sincere way I can, right? No chance in hell.
Nope. I don't think it goes back to New York. I think they finished it up at home.
Not only does Indiana finish it up at home, I expect Miles Turner to have a big game in Game 6 at home off the bench. I really do. Because it's something like I'm not a Miles Turner fan because I play 2K and he's trash on 2K. He's absolute garbage on 2K. He can't do shit on 2K. He can't.
He can't hit a layup, dog.
He's absolute trash on 2K. Whoever built Miles Turner on 2K and put the shot in and all, you're garbage for that.
What's the rating? What's his rating?
I think last time I checked, I don't know what it was this year, but last year his rating was like a 81 or something.
Damn.
Like, I mean, he's better than Roy Hibbert, but I mean, that might be about it.
Yeah.
He damn sure he damn sure ain't Rick Smits. So
Yeah, nah.
Shout out to Rick Smits, boy.
Damn. Too much respect. I ain't
Shout
gonna
out to Rick Smits.
I think he doesn't even have to score a lot. I just think he's gonna have a big impact on the game. Miles Turner is the longest tenured pacer on that roster. He's been there through everything. He's been there through trade rumors.
Mm-hmm.
Allegedly, he was about to get traded, and then last minute they pulled the plug on the trade. He's been there through everything.
Yep.
He's going to play inspired basketball, knowing he finally has a chance to get to the finals. And I think Miles Turner's been in the league like 8 years, somewhere in there. He's been here a while now, so I think Miles Turner will have a big impact on the game. And I also think Tyrese Halliburton is going to turn into Sean Livingston 2.0.
They better. Shoot. Both of them.
I think you'll also see a good. I think you see a good performance off the bench from TJ McConnell as well. I've been liking the way he's been playing. Yeah, I think that was a good solid signing.
Yeah. TJ McConnell been balling at home.
Yep. Balling. I think you'll see a good solid signing from a good solid performance from him off the bench.
I think. I think that. And hear me out on this, and I want you. I know y'all are going to say the same. Both series are exact mirrors of each other.
Mm-hmm.
One team is too small and the other team is too big. Yeah. They are exact. Yeah. They're mirror images of each other. Jalen Brunson is a small point guard. Tyrese Halliburton is a big point guard. Right? The only thing is the Knicks have Cat in the post. What's the other? What's the other?
Mitchell Robinson.
Even though Mitchell Robinson, this is when we go back to talking about team defense,
right?
Team offense, and building your team. And more importantly, I thought I would never say this, but Tom Thibodeau is getting out coached by Rick Carlisle. Rick Carlisle is a coach that's flew under the radar after the Dallas Mavericks won the championship. But people forget how good Rick Carlisle is and how defensive minded he is, even though the Pacers play with a lot of pace. Well, they live to names playing with a lot of pace.
Yeah, I mean, names playing.
In the half court, they can literally lock your team down just based off the length that they possess. Everybody's big. Everybody's tall on this team as well.
And they're athletic.
Oh yeah, everybody hustles. They don't fall victim to a mismatch or not getting to their guy when they're supposed to. Everybody hustles to the man.
And the X factor that has been in this series is, and this is why, Moot, you will agree with this. This is why championship pedigree is so important. The X factor has been Pascal Siakam. Pascal Siakam has been going bananas in this series. They can't figure out what to do with him. OG Anunoby can't guard him. He's getting eaten up every time he tries to guard him. He can't do nothing with him. Pascal Siakam has literally been the X factor, because people obviously forget that Pascal Siakam was an all-star in Toronto. Yep. People forget that Pascal Siakam was the third option, or technically Pascal was the second option behind Kawhi, and Kyle Lowry was probably the third option. Kyle Lowry and Marc Gasol shared third option. But Pascal Siakam, he averaged over 20 in that series as well, in those playoffs. Like, this Pacers team, last year, I was one of the ones that believed it was a fluke that they beat New York because Jalen Brunson got hurt, Julius Randle got hurt. Somebody else was hurt on that team last year. I can't remember who. I was like, man,
got hurt in the championship game.
Right. And I was like, man, had the Knicks been healthy, they would have won the series. Well, the Knicks are healthy now.
Yep.
And the Knicks are really missing Dante DiVincenzo, the guy that was going bananas in the playoffs for them last year next to Jalen Brunson. OG Anunoby ain't it. They probably should have traded for Scotty Barnes. I'm not gonna lie to you. They should have tried everything in their power to get Scotty Barnes.
That would have been
OG
nice.
OG Anunoby ain't it, bro.
That would have been
And
nice for them to get Barnes.
OG Anunoby reminds me a lot of Kevin Martin. Somebody gotta put up the points on a bad team.
That's fair.
That's fair.
And
no lie, that's really fair.
Yeah, really fair.
I don't think Tom Thibodeau's offense and defense fits OG Anunoby's playing style. He looks out of whack and out of sync on the court with the Knicks. Like it's just not it. Like I don't know if he just can't grasp the concept of what's going on, or if teams are just exposing his weaknesses.
I need this team, and I hate the Knicks. Y'all know I can't stand the Knicks, but they need to play smarter basketball. 17 turnovers here, 10 turnovers there. All that ends up to being points that you lose out on because you're not playing smart basketball. You're not taking care of the basketball. I need them to play a smarter brand at it, and I think it's too late for that. But despite the win tonight, which we all saw coming, by the way, as fans, I just need them to play better basketball. And some of these moves, like the DiVincenzo move, I didn't understand it. I didn't get it. He was playing well. He was playing well for you, and you let him go.
DiVincenzo had like 6 30-point games in the playoffs last year, and the rest of them was hovering between 17 and 20.
Yeah, he was playing well. I don't understand why you gave up on that. I don't get it.
Valuable trade piece, solid trade piece. But I think when it comes to the Pacers, like I've been saying, they're fiery, they're feisty, they communicate, they talk. Unfortunately, the Miles Turner, Tyrese Halliburton picked, today to have their worst games, which, like we said, we've seen it coming, right? We understand that the Knicks are going to show some fight. But going back to Indiana, this just doesn't seem well. We're poised for a big game from Tyrese Halliburton. Andrew freaking both Naismith and Nembhard both didn't play well today. We can expect them to play a lot better.
Naismith, you know, tell you who this dude is reminding me of right now. This dude is reminding me of Danny Green in that 2013 series against the Heat when he was with San Antonio, where you had all these legends. You had all these legends in this series, and Danny Green was outperforming everybody.
Yeah, because bro couldn't miss. Yeah, he could not miss. He was legitimately had his sliders all the way up that day. Okay, well, definitely. But I do think that this series is just it's as good as over. Micah B brought up a good point though, because a lot of people have brought this point up. Rick Carlisle has been coaching his ass off, and I think a lot of people don't really realize the job that he's doing against somebody like Tom Thibodeau, right? And the defensive prowess that you got to come with, the defensive mindset that you got to come with a guy like Tom Thibodeau who knows going to score a lot of points and a lot of time. So,
but I ask you this.
Go ahead.
I asked both you guys this. Here's why I question Tibbs. And again, I'm a Bulls fan, Bulls hat. I was there, Derrick Rose, his tenure there. You really yes, is he a good coach? Good coach. But you have to ask yourself the question, is he that coach that can take you over the hump to a championship? You have to ask that question. And I don't know if he's that guy. I don't know if he's that guy, because you see him being out coached in this series. He's not doing a very good job of taking this roster to something that can compete. So you have to ask that question. Is he that guy?
I don't think not Rick, my bad. I've never thought, Moo,
this is true.
I say it,
this is true.
I will tell you, I have never thought Tom Thibodeau was an elite coach. I always thought he was just a good coach, and I got killed on Basket to Basket for saying it. It was like, look, he had Derrick Rose, and look what they did in this and that. And I said, he runs his players into the ground. At the end of the year, they're exhausted, and his star players always get injured because of it. Jalen Brunson, Derrick Rose, Jimmy Butler got hurt while he was playing for Tibbs. With the 76ers. Let me tell you what the problem with Tom Thibodeau is and why he's getting out coached. And this is just me observing and watching. Let me ask you guys a question. How many offensive sets the Knicks got? You're laughing because you know it's zero. Let me tell you why.
I was gonna say, the fact that we both laughed, though, like
zero.
Let me tell you why Tom Thibodeau is not a good coach. As long as they play hard defense, he lets them freestyle on offense. There's no reliable play for them to go get a bucket when they need one. It was the same thing when he was coaching Chicago. It was like, we got Derrick Rose, need a bucket, give it to Derrick Rose and get out the way. And by the end of the season, Derrick Rose was ran into the ground. Same thing when Derrick Rose left, and it was Jimmy. And then Jimmy went over to Philadelphia with Tibbs, and it was the same thing again. And that's why Jimmy Butler got frustrated, because we're not running offensive sets. You're not telling them what to do on offense, and we're out here freestyling, and you can't win like that. You absolutely can't.
Tibbs needs an offense coordinator. That's what he needs. He needs an offense coordinator. Because if you go back and you look at it, he does. It's incidental basketball. Is what he played. That's the style.
Say you sound like Kobe right now.
That's what it is. That's what it is. I mean, and right now he gets his team to a certain point, and they tap. He's never been that dude, and he's never tried to do anything on his staff to cover for his weaknesses, so to speak. Which is a damn shame, because you got very good assistant coaches who can come in and help on the offensive side of the ball, and get that team to where they need to be.
I got a suggestion for New York and Tom Thibodeau. You need to figure out what you can do to get your hands on Sam Cassell.
Facts.
Literally. You need to figure out what you can do to get your hands on Sam Cassell to come in as your offensive coordinator. Because it's getting to the point where this weakness is showing that you don't have an offense at every single head coach stop you've been at.
Yep.
Good luck.
Look, I got a problem with Steve Kerr runs, because Steve Kerr don't really deviate from it much, but at least he has something. And it's a shame to see a coach.
You can thank Derek Stackhouse for that.
Facts, but I think that you really don't. He has too much tenure in this league not to have some type of offensive system in place. Too long.
That's true. Y'all heard it here, folks, man. Shoot.
This ain't that dude. And it's nothing personal against Tibbs. I mean, because he gets you to a certain point.
It's true, though. You can't argue with true.
Gets you to a certain point, but once you get to that tipping scale, he needs something to go over, and he don't have anything to go over that scale.
Tibbs is a fantastic defensive coach. Fantastic. Hall of Fame worthy on his team's defense. His team defenses, except with the Knicks. The Knicks are just they're not that good on defense, but they're also undersized. They're also undersized a lot.
Very much so.
But he does have them competing on defense, and Jalen Brunson can't play defense to save his damn life.
Oh, Jalen Brunson out here, they're flopping like fish.
Jalen Brunson out there looking like Dame Lillard on defense. He's out there looking like that. They try. He does put effort in. And he tries, but he can't play defense to save his life.
No,
he tries.
He can't. I don't know if he refuses to play defense or if he's saving that
he doesn't.
for the offensive end.
I don't think he refuses to play defense. I think I think he wears himself out trying to play defense, and then has to go back and do everything on offense because why? Tibbs don't have offensive sets.
Exactly. Exactly. No triangle. No nothing.
Boy, Tibbs need Tex wanted to be revived from death right now.
Hell
because this ain't making no sense.
Hell yeah.
Fair point. I mean, that's true. Shit. At this point, You might want to go look into that free agent coaching pool and see who you can pull out of that motherfucker. Because there's a few.
Would
coaches.
would you guys see that as a stop for Mike Malone?
I was gonna suggest that earlier, but I mean, I think the
My only
Timberwolves
thing
would be
is
more
my
make more
only
sense.
thing is could Mike deal with that media scrutiny? Because in New York,
Mike's a
anytime
thug, absolutely.
that's gonna be the
I was just about to say that Mike is a thug. Yes, he can.
He a thug, absolutely,
if he can deal with that New
absolutely.
York media, I say
That's
go
a
for it.
thug. That's a
If
thug,
Mike can deal with that New York media, I say go for it.
man. Y'all see what he did to Aaron Gordon before he left?
Yep.
Yeah, that's a thug, man. Mike, he got that, man. He got that. He got that in the bag, man. I ain't worried about that. I ain't gonna lie to you. I just thought that Mike to the T-Wolves would probably make more sense because he is a Western coach. He probably would end up going back to the West. I would assume that any kind of crazy move that Minnesota would make would probably come on the back of Chris Finch. Right? You tear your knee last year. This year, you get 4-1 swept in the Western Conference Finals. So I just, they might be looking to go in a different direction. But
right.
If New York did want to make a big splash after having a coach like Tibbs, I mean, who's bigger?
You got to ask yourself another question too. Even though you got Mike Malone up in there, championship coach, how would he meld with Jim Dolan, who's an idiot?
That's the only thing you run into.
He's an idiot,
Mike
man.
Can't take incompetence, and Mike would probably fight with that. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like
they're gonna eat a hot pocket and tell you it's a pancake. That dude's an idiot, man.
Bro,
he's an idiot.
He would legitimately sit up there and try to coach with Mike, and Mike would Mike would kick him out of practice, and he would try to some dumb shit.
My God, bruh. Jim Dolan, hear me out. Jim Dolan is literally the Cowboys owner.
Yep, he's
Jerry Jones.
Most definitely. He's Jerry Jones 2.0.
He is Jerry Jones of the NFL. He want control of everything. He want to control the contracts. He want to control the offense, the defense. He want yes men as coaches. Oh, man.
It don't matter who the GM is for the Knicks. Because he always calling every call going to be his.
He's just a dumbass. And
the crazy thing is, Mark Cuban set an unrealistic example.
True.
For owners.
Good point.
He really did. Because Mark Cuban was the owner and the GM doing the contracts.
Yep.
And making sure he set an unrealistic one. Like he did it well. Because Dallas was always in the playoffs. They were always in the Western Conference Finals. Then they finally broke through and won the championship in 2011. He set an unrealistic goal for owners. And Jerry Jones been there forever and has been trying to do it forever and can't get there yet. And yet Mark Cuban comes in the 2000s and gets it done faster than you could ever do it.
That's also
being the GM and
then on top of that, we got to remember Mark Cuban did take a step back this past year, a few years ago, as far as ownership wise.
But hell, you saw what your boy did. He put a wool over everybody and said, "Look, we're gonna trade Luka." And then because defense wins championships, everybody get hurt. He ain't win nothing. And then you get all of a sudden you get Cooper Flag. Come on, man.
You're right.
Come on, man. You can't tell me Adam Silver.
You're right. Defense wins championships. You're absolutely right. But last time I checked, they were in the fucking finals last year.
That is true.
Yep. Damn, the defense you had the defense. You just lost to a better team.
Yep. I wouldn't touch that team.
You lost to a team that was together.
I wouldn't touch it at all.
Bro, I would have ran it back. I would have absolutely ran it back with Luka, Kyrie, Washington, Gafford, Lively.
Yep.
Pick up. See what you could pick up in the off season with a couple of couple more shooters, 3-and-D guys. That shit, bro. The Luka Doncic trade was crazy. On paper, it didn't make sense because there was still a very, very good team on paper. But Anthony Davis is on the wrong side of 30, so you're in win now mode. And granted, what did I say last week? What did I say 2 weeks ago? And they talked about it literally the next day on Inside the NBA.
They did. They
did.
did.
You keep telling me that number one pick is untradeable, but I'm telling you, if Giannis is available, I think Dallas would trade that number one pick. And it ain't got nothing to do with anything other than Dallas has no choice but to win now. Because you traded away your future.
Yep.
To win a championship now. You trade away your future. So you would have to be willing to mortgage your future on getting Giannis. And I think Giannis would be a good addition to that team. Because Giannis and Anthony Davis could both switch power forward and center. I mean, people forget Giannis is 6'11".
And also AD don't want to play the center spot.
Yeah, that's true.
And he don't want to play the center. Well, hell, he not playing the center spot because Gafford there already.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's the reason why he went there.
Yep. So you gotta, so hell yeah, you can, hey, I still think that if you're Dallas, you go with the higher upside. But if you're trying to win down mode and you want to win today, go get Giannis.
Hold on. What you mean the higher upside?
In terms of Cooper Flag and his age.
Because okay.
Because Cooper Flag is a type of player who can grow with you, assuming he's not a bust. And I don't think he'll be a bust. Assuming he's not going to bust.
I do think Cooper Flag would grow nicely with PJ Washington, Isaiah Lively, and Gafford. I do think they could grow nicely together, but it's going to come. It's going to come with a lot of growing pains.
It is.
It will. It's going to come with some growing pains. And to that fact, you still don't know if Cooper Flag is going to be a star.
We don't know if he's going to be that guy. That's true.
Right.
We don't know if any of these guys in the draft going to be that guy. I mean, as much as I love Ace Bailey, I don't know.
Like some people, you can just tell going to be a bona fide stud, bro. You just know.
Right.
Yeah. True.
Cooper Flag, I'm just on the fence about because I'm just like, I don't know if his game is going to translate to the NBA. And the only reason why is because he's not uber athletic. And your superstar players are crazy athletic. Like, I mean, except with the exception of a few. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like Tyrese Halliburton is not crazy athletic. He's a star player, though. He's not crazy athletic, but he's a star player.
Yes.
And right. So, but he's a star floor general. Right. And it's just like, I remember when what I see for Cooper Flag right now, and I hope this doesn't happen. Tyler Hansborough.
I remember Tyler, man. I remember Tyler. Oh my gosh. This is why I wanted Cooper Flag to go to San Antonio. Because I thought San Antonio would have been a better situation for him.
Right. And see, I think even with Tyler Hansborough, I think he just got thrown in like he's going to be the franchise player and this
right.
And not everybody could handle that pressure. Not everybody's going to live up to that pressure.
Yeah.
Like I know y'all remember what a stud Tyler Hansborough was at UNC.
For sure.
Him and Ty Lawson were a crazy duo, and I know we all know Obama picked UNC to win, and he absolutely got it right with Ty Lawson and Tyler Hansborough.
Shout out to Ty Lawson. I haven't heard that in years.
Ty Lawson was a beast in college.
He was good in college.
But I'm not trying to sound like I'm hating on Cooper Flag. I think Cooper Flag will be a really good player in the NBA. I just don't know if I see star or man, what is this guy's name? His name is slipping my mind. He used to play for Utah. The dude from, I guess he was from Duke. He used to try and trip everybody. And he'd be kicking everybody. He was Draymond in college. He was the Draymond Green in college. I can't think of his name though.
We're talking about. Give me 2 seconds because it's right on the tip of my tongue.
Andre Karolinko?
No.
I love Andre, by the way.
In Phoenix now.
Damn, tripping everybody up.
He is in Phoenix, and I can't think of his name.
Hold on. Give me 2 seconds. Grayson Allen.
Oh, Grayson Allen. Yeah, former Buck. Okay.
Grayson Allen. That's it. See, I've been watching too much wrestling because I was gonna say Grayson Waller, but it is Grayson Allen. Grayson Allen. And Grayson Allen is a really, really good player. He was on top of the league in top 5 and 3-point percentage like 2 years ago or something like that. He was one of the most accurate 3-point shooters. And there's nothing wrong with being a Grayson Allen. There's nothing wrong with averaging 15 points per game and things like that. There's absolutely nothing wrong. I mean, Cooper Flag could turn out to be JJ Redick. Be an important piece of the championship team.
He could.
Because y'all remember Jason Redick in college was dumb. I mean, that's a Jason. JJ Redick in college was dumb. JJ averaged over 22 or some. He averaged some crazy shit. You know what I'm saying? JJ was crazy. And he played in the league for numerous years, and he was a really good player that teams coveted. I don't.
You just don't know any of these guys. You just don't know what any of these guys what they're gonna do. It's
right. So I just don't know. But
I mean,
what I do know is Giannis got 4 more years of superstardom in him.
Mm-hmm.
True.
That's what I do know. And if Dallas is in win now mode, you got 4 years to get it done with Kyrie and Giannis. I'm not going to say Anthony Davis. And people are going to be like, well, Anthony Davis is.
I ain't saying. I'm not saying your boy either. Klay Thompson. I'm not saying him either.
Oh no, I'm not saying no. I think Klay will retire in like 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
But I just you got about 3 years to get it done with Kyrie or Giannis. Milwaukee tried to do it with Dame and the Dame and Giannis combination, but God damn, I can't believe I'm really about to say this, but they fucked up trading away Chris Middleton for Kyle Kuzma.
I would not have done that deal. Now you're gonna have.
I wanted Chris Middleton gone, but not for no goddamn Kyle Kuzma, bro.
Kyle Kuzma going to end up with the Shanghai Sharks next season. Watch.
You shut your ass up. You know who you should have traded away Chris Middleton for if you wanted to get rid of him that bad? Julius Randle.
Hell yeah, he would have fit. Would have fit. Yeah.
That's better. I'm not gonna lie, that's really good.
That's really good. Yeah, that would have fit better. That would have fit better for both squads. That would have fit better.
I think the Bucks make it further if that. Well, no, who they play in the first round?
Didn't they play the Heat? Oh no. Damn. Indiana.
Yeah, no, they play Indiana first. Mm-hmm. We're done. No, I still think they can lose that series. But
Indiana got their number. I don't care what you play.
But the problem that I have with Cooper Flag, right? Before we start to wind down here, the problem that I have with Cooper Flag is, as a Duke Blue Devil fan, I don't think we've seen enough. You know what I mean? Like,
you think
it's not that I feel like he can't play. It's not that I feel like he's going to be a bust. It's not that I feel like his game isn't going to translate. He's a 2-guard/3 guard that doesn't necessarily play to his size. He's a legitimate 6'9", right? Likes to take the outside shot a lot. Will go to the rack if presented, but not really aggressive like that. I just don't think we've seen enough yet, right? And for an 18-year-old kid coming into the NBA, asking him to probably take on a much bigger role than he may be prepared for, I'm not too sure if
you bring up a good point. You brought up a good point.
Just say it, Moo.
Yeah.
Just say it, Moo. Call it as it is.
I'm just not.
It's one of those.
You got to think about the competition that he's going against. We can't just sit up there and assume that because he's Cooper Flag, because he's the number 1 pick, that he's automatically going to play. We're talking about getting starts. He's going to have to start over Clay. He's going to have to start over PJ Washington. He's going to have to start over the Likeleys and the Gaffers of the world, right? Because he is a legitimate 6'9". They're going to use him in multiple positions on the floor. So it's like, why not stay back another year?
Call it what it is. Call it
You're not
what
ready.
it is.
I just don't
I'm
think
gonna
he's
say
ready.
something.
We
I'm gonna
ain't
say
seen
something.
enough film on him. We haven't seen enough film on him the same way we didn't see enough film on Trey Lance. It's the
I'm
same
gonna say
exact thing.
this.
I
I'm gonna
mean,
say this.
it's
I'm gonna say
true. I
this.
just don't think he's ready yet. I'm not. That's
I'm
just
gonna
me.
say this, and I know I'm gonna get some heat for it, but I don't care. I think Cooper Flag's the most coveted, but I think the player who's gonna end up being better is Ace Bailey.
I think so too. I see right now. And I know this is probably a crazy comparison because they went to the same school, but I see Christian Laettner right now.
Good point. Different position, but good point.
Position, but
If
Good
he can
point.
be Christian, if he can be Christian Laettner, that's a successful career.
Yeah, it
it's
is.
a successful career. But
Christian Laettner even he got a gold medal and he made an all-star team.
This is true. But I think what they're going to ask from him might be on a different level than a Christian Laettner. And right now, I think he's at a Christian Laettner level until that he gets to the league. And now they might ask him to be at a more higher level. And I haven't seen enough from him to think that he can do that on a consistent basis.
I give you even deeper going into it, right? I'm not going to count Jay Williams in this because Jay Williams was going to be an absolute stud, and he was an absolute stud until he got hurt. Mm-hmm. But when you look at the players that have came out of Duke over like from Coach K going into the what's the coach now is Huey
Coach K.
No, going from Coach
K to now. Gotcha.
John Shire.
Right. So like here we go. All right. Zion Williamson, star when he's healthy. Brandon Ingram, probably a really second or a really good second or third option.
Yep.
Now you got Banchero, stud.
Hell yeah.
But then you got JJ Redick. Elton Brown was really good at one point. Mark Williams, Seth Curry, Grayson Allen, Mason Plumlee, Tyus Jones, Jalen Johnson, RJ Barrett, Derek Lively, who's a really good center, but not a star. Shane Battier, good championship piece. Luau Deng, Gary Trent Jr., Wendell Moore, Carlos Boucher, who made a couple of All-Star games.
Luau Deng was the best thief ever. Ever.
Yeah. Marvin Bagley, Christian Laettner, Danny Ferry, Trey Jones, Harry Giles, Jerry McCain, Kyle Flipkowski, Marcus Bolden, Derek Whitehead, Cam Reddish, Trayvon Duval. What is it? That is a weird name.
That's a weird
AJ
name.
Griffin, Justice Winslow, Quinn Cook, Jabari Parker.
Justice Winslow for the Heat.
Jabari Parker got hurt though. So
yeah, he did. He did.
Cassius Stanley, Ryan Kelly, Matthew Hurd, Marshall Plumlee, Andre Dawkins, Nolan Smith. Look, my point here is Duke produces good college players who get close to winning championships, but they don't produce a lot of star players like how Kentucky has in the past 30 years. Yeah. They are not even Devin Booker was on the bench at Kentucky. He didn't start. He was the sixth man.
So we not counting Grant Hill?
I didn't bring up Grant Hill just for the simple fact that Grant Hill is the best player to ever come out of Duke.
Agreed.
Okay.
Agreed.
Well, either him or Kyrie.
Yeah.
Those two.
That's debatable. That's debatable.
And the problem with Kyrie is Kyrie only played 2 or 3 games because he got hurt.
Yep.
Right. So if you put the conversation as who's the better Duke player, Grant Hill's the better Duke player, but Kyrie is the better NBA player because Grant got hurt. But Grant was definitely the more talented player. Grant was dumb.
Yeah.
Grant had the potential to average a triple-double for a season for the first time since Oscar Robertson. He was stupid. Grant was nice.
Yep.
Insane.
But and then the superstars that they do produce get hurt. With Kyrie Irving, Grant Hill, Zion Williamson, Banchero just got hurt this year, and he had a season-ending injury.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying, but they do produce a lot of NCAA Player of the Years. They do produce a lot of all first team ACC and all first team or all second team ACC play. They do. they produce a lot of players that are in the running for National Player of the Year if they don't win.
Right.
But when they get to the NBA, a lot of them and majority of them are not star players.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not saying Cooper Flag can't be the anomaly, but I just don't think we saw enough of him in college to fully commit and say he is it.
Yeah.
I think that's fair. Well, wanted to try to get into some NFL talk, but don't want to keep my guys here too long. We all got jobs and occupations to get to bright and early in the morning. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get these final thoughts in, starting with my boy DJ Micah B. Go ahead and take us away.
Well, I know I'm not on Basket to Basket no more, but I do love to talk some basketball. As y'all can see, I love to talk some basketball. I know my X's and O's too, so don't doubt the mind frame. I sat in a basketball class for 4 years and soaked up all the knowledge because I was just the manager. I had ankle problems. I couldn't play. So I sat in there, I learned my X's and O's, and if you ask Mr. GQ, he will still call me when his AAU teams are playing to get insight on how to break down their defenses. I know what I'm talking about.
Cook. Go ahead, Willie.
All right. Real quick, I just want to say, fuck Rock Manfred. You still running them a game. It's time. Wow. It's time for your Major League Baseball teams to start panicking. If you're not where your team should be, if you're not where you want to be, it's past Labor Day. It's time for your ass to start panicking.
I've actually been panicking before Labor Day.
I am. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Panic. Catch me this Saturday, Geek on the Podcast. We will be back. We were on our last weekend because of Memorial Day holiday. We'll be back this week, 10 p.m. Eastern on YouTube and Twitch. I'm also with Waterwire Sports for Coffee and Sports in the morning on Monday and Tuesdays, 9 a.m. Eastern. And you can catch me on the Sports Report Podcast every Monday at 10 p.m. Eastern time. Then I'll be right back here for Player versus Team on Thursdays, 10:30 p.m. Eastern my time.
Y'all heard what my boys said. Make sure you tune into the rest of the shows throughout the rest of the week. That means Inside the Huddle tomorrow, 7 o'clock. Don't miss it. Make sure y'all be there. Me and Mel talking that ish. Then on Saturday.
Hey man, you on a lot of shows. I don't know if you were still on there yesterday when we was leaving yesterday and I started calling out shows. I was like, well, damn, Moo got a lot of damn shows going on. What the hell?
Hey man, you know me, I'm multifaceted, dog. Anytime I can get me on the screen, I'm on the screen. You know what I mean? Make sure y'all tune in to Basket to Basket on Monday because we will be back regular scheduled programming and time. Wednesday, they got a crazy one for you, so you're not gonna want to miss it. Not gonna give away too many secrets, but I think this is gonna be a family favorite. Then on Thursday, make sure you guys tune in. PVT, Player versus Team. You know we back. Major changes coming to the channel, so you don't want to miss it. My boy Mel is going to be heavily incorporated in that, so I know you guys are going to be excited. And then on top of that, Friday, like I said, we doubling back. Inside the Huddle, talking that ish. And then don't miss on Saturday because the Geek Outlet Podcast is going to be live and coming at you. Thank you guys for tuning in. We appreciate everybody that was in the comments. Appreciate everybody that was watching today, both via YouTube and Facebook. Make sure you guys keep hitting that like, comment, and subscribe button and keep bringing out this dope-ass content. We can catch y'all next week. Peace.
Girl, you rockin' like